Toyota Tacoma generations. We're all wrong. No new Toyota Tacoma soon if history repeats itself. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, I've been doing a little bit of research on Toyota Tacoma generations, and it seems that indeed we are all wrong. And if history repeats itself, we're not going to have a next generation, a fourth generation Toyota Tacoma anytime soon. Now, let's take a look at this. I went through and I looked at what the different years were for each generation of the Toyota Tacoma. The first generation was model year, and that's important. Model year counts as the first year, right? So the first generation was model year 1995 through 2004. That was a 10-year run. The second generation, which by the way, I think I actually had, in looking at these dates and trying to think back as to when I bought my first Toyota Tacoma, I believe it was like a 2012, 13, something like that, but definitely a second generation. The second generations ran from model year 2005 through 2015. That was an 11-year span. So Toyota actually increased it a bit there. Must have been highly successful, I'm guessing. Now, the third generation, what we have currently right now. It runs model year 2016 through so far 2023. Now, that's an 8-year run. You can kind of see where we're going here, right? So if it goes through 2025, that would be 10 years, 10 solid model years. That would mean that we'll have a redesigned Toyota Tacoma with model year beginning 2026. Now, we have the 23s out, so that's really what, a couple of years with it coming out late in 2025 as a 2026. Now, there's a little caveat to this. You know, in looking at the history, if you follow it, it would appear that it'll be something like 10 years, 11 years, something in that range. Two things. One, can Toyota really afford to wait? You know, they were able to run that second generation and even a third generation for such a long period of time or times because there just wasn't a ton of competition out there. But there is now. We have the mini trucks, we have the other mid-sized trucks back in the market. So you got to think that Toyota's feeling a little bit of competitive pressure when it comes to redesigning the Tacoma and getting it out there for you and I, hopefully, to buy. But there's a second little caveat to this. You see, I talked to a Toyota engineer, a guy who actually works in the part of the company that does the redesigns. And he told me that the way that Toyota handles the redesigns is they start up or come out 3 years after the most recent redesign, which in this case, truck-wise, would be the Toyota Tundra. It was done and released in 2021. 3 years, of course, would be 2024. That would put it out as a 2025 model year as far as the redesigned Toyota Tacoma goes. I don't know what's going to happen, if that's going to hold true or not. He seemed to know what he was talking about, but let's face it, people at the engineering level aren't making the decisions. They're made by people up here. And the only way that I think Toyota's going to do it any sooner than 2025, more likely 2026 if history proves out, is if Toyota starts to feel it at the bottom line. You know, there was just a report out recently that Toyota still, 17 years running, holds the record or holds the title as the #1 selling, best-selling mid-sized truck. So there's really no pressure on Toyota right now, at least as of the date of that statement release. And that was through Toyota, by the way. It was a Toyota newsroom release. So there's no pressure on them to do anything. And why would they? Except, you know, it's like a game. It's kind of like an odds game. It's like going to Vegas in the car market. You know, you're winning. You know, sooner or later you're going to lose. Sooner or later somebody else at the table is going to win. In this case, one of the other manufacturers. You've got Ford, Nissan, Chevy, you've got the mini trucks with the Santa Cruz, you've got the Maverick. Who knows who else is going to come into the market? And we also have something else going on right now. A couple of other things. One, we have gas prices that just keep going up. We have a president, and I'm not getting political, but he did make the statement that this is a major turning point for Americans. In other words, we're going to turn away from gasoline and we're going to move to something else. Well, that being the electrics. That's the only other thing out there. However, I do want to mention something. I saw a video the other day. It popped up on one of my feeds, and it was someone who had developed a water-powered motor. It was awesome. Whether it's true or not, I've often wondered. One of the things that was stated in this video that popped up was every time there's an innovative or new fuel source that comes out, it mysteriously disappears. Sometimes the people that created it mysteriously disappear. Who knows? Conspiracy theory, we're not going to get into that, just like we're not going to get into politics. But anyway, it seems that there's a lot of other things going on right now that can even take more of a bite out of Toyota. And I don't care how big of a fan you are of the brand, there's always going to be a little bit taken away with every new thing that comes out. Because the people that may have bought the Tacoma before might have turned their heads, and probably have. I've heard from some on the channel, people leaving Toyota because they're dissatisfied with the Tacoma. Either it's technology, its ride quality, its power, maybe some of the strengths of the other vehicles out there. Each one of those is going to pull away a little bit of money from Toyota. And I think that's what's going to determine whether or not we see the redesign sooner than later. If they have their board meeting and they're looking at the bottom line and they see that their profit numbers are starting to go down, this is a business, right? It is driven by profit. If they see that happening, they're going to have to react. And they will. Toyota's been in this game for quite a while. It's not like they're brand new and they don't know what they're doing. They do have the #1 mid-size selling truck on the market. Anyway, I just wanted to take a look at that. If you look at history, we're not going to have a redesigned Toyota Tacoma until 2026 model year or 2025 model year if you pay attention to what the engineer told me. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. What have you seen out there in the webverse? What are you thinking? Will we have a redesigned Toyota Tacoma before model year 2026? I'd be curious to know. And make sure you tell me why you think that. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive MT, all about mini trucks, currently the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.